but I just wanted, in case anybody didn't know who I was, where I worked, I've been here for a while. Move up through the ranks, and my current assignment is a sergeant. I just want to say that this is, especially as a previous discussion, kind of a tough time to come up and present this, but I didn't realize I had to wear my vest to the meeting. So I'm hoping to do is just kind of, set everybody at ease a little bit in the explanation, answer questions, that kind of thing, okay? I know it's late, now we want to get out of here, so I want to give you some information and then we'll move on, okay? I put this together just with, some information to make it easier for everybody. I just wanted to know is that I've been here for close to 18 years, and nobody has ever come to our department and said, we're going to build you a brand new station. We're going to build you a jail cell, those kinds of things. We're doing it through a donation, and we're doing it, no cost to the town and all that, but that's been a problem. And tonight was a perfect example. Hey, let's move into this building. Let's move into that building. Let's start construction. You heard it tonight. Construction's at least 2-3 years out. And that's what I've been hearing ever since I started here. So, anyway. What I did is, who am I, right? I can come up here and I can tell you anything you want to hear, but I want you to know that I put some of this information together, and this is a survey done back in 1997, the Corral Group, okay? And they're the ones who did I think it was a feasibility or a full study throughout the town, not of the police department, but it was several other departments.
It was ADA compliance.
Correct, okay,
Yeah.
Which is fine. So again, I can come up here and I can say anything I want. You guys can believe me or not believe me, but I want to prove some of the stuff that I'm actually presenting, okay? So I have some documentation specifically that was presented by them, and I'm not going to read every single little sentence, all right? I want to try to move on and get through this the best we can, okay? But just so you know, I can back up the information that I'm saying, okay? So they basically did a study and they did a survey, and one of the biggest things is that station is otherwise seriously inadequate to serve the needs of the police station, okay? I can tell you for a fact that since 1997, it has not got any better, okay? Our station hasn't changed a whole lot since 1997, okay? More than welcome to come on up and take a tour, and I know many people have taken us up on it, so we're still located at the same place, still the same problems, all right? Again, this is done by them, all right? But I also want to point out that if we don't have a lockup. Basically, if somebody's under arrest, we handcuff them to the wall. They have a chair and there's a wall, okay? Mass General Law states that any town having more than 5,000 people must have a jail cell. We're in violation of that law. Now, that's kind of weird because we're the police. So we're violating the law. But it's not, oh, I want one just because. Well, I'm telling you, Mass General Law says we're supposed to have one. So this is the whole reason why I'm presenting you, okay? A new one, as Chief Bennett just mentioned, it just came out, I think it was maybe 2 months ago, roughly, and it says under Chapter 265-13M, domestic assault and battery, you must hold the arrestee for 6 hours prior to them getting bailed. Kind of a good idea. The problem being is you had a domestic, the husband or the wife, whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be, would come up and bail that person out before we were even done our booking process. So the courts kind of said, time out. Let's give them kind of a resting period and have them sit for 6 hours. Now you kind of realize you violated the law, you're arrested, whatever. I'm not against or for it, but what they didn't understand is small towns like us, where do we put them? What do we do with them? Great idea, maybe, yeah, no, I don't know. But what the heck do we do with somebody for 6 hours? You're certainly not keeping them to that damn wall with one handcuff. You know what I'm saying? So this is the reason why, again, not just because I want one, but I'm proving to you, Mass General Law has changed. This is the need that we have, okay? Mr. Royer, kind of getting to your question. Again, this was done by the Corral Group, because I can stay up here and I can say it cost us $1 million and blah, blah, blah. This was back in 2011. We had 200 arrests, okay? We had to use somebody else's facility. Basically, it's over 3 times a week. Town paid overtime, fuel costs. We had to transport prisoners. So this gets into exactly what you're asking, okay? My last presentation, so to answer your question, what we go is we go to the State Police in Athol, Leominster, Gardner, sometimes Winchendon, and if they can't be released, okay? If you get arrested, you get bailed out for $40, you get done in town. If not, you have to stay, sleep somewhere, okay? These are the facilities that we use. We've traveled as far away as state police in Millbury, okay? Now, it's taking a guy out of town, that's paying, the gas for him being out of town, that's shorting our shift, all those kinds of problems, all right? The last meeting that we had just fell past Columbus Day weekend. We have an arrest on Friday night. We keep him Friday night, him or her. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and we bring him to court on Tuesday, okay? That's potentially almost like 5 days, okay? Now, in the meanwhile, and we appreciate state police, we appreciate God and the world has helped us, and I say that helped us in the past. But the problem being is they run their facility as well. So there's a lot of times with the state police, what will happen is they'll call us up. Hey, listen, yeah, you guys have a female in the cell? Yeah. Well, we're coming in with a male. Okay. What do we do? They're there for a reason. You see what I'm saying? So it puts us in a jam, especially at 3 a.m. Now we're taking a trip to Millbury, and we're shooting a guy on the shift. And we're using gas to go all the way down to Millbury and back. Okay? Again, I'm just trying to point out some facts. These are things that have happened, do happen, all the time. Okay? Here are some of the things that I'm kind of jumping ahead. Some of the problems with the other facilities. And again, I'm not bashing the state police. They're awesome. I'll go on record saying they've been a great help for many, many years. It is what it is. They cover many cities and towns. They have an arrest. There's a conflict. We have to move. There's some laws, male and female, within such a distance and all that kind of stuff with regards to the cells, okay? Here's some of the things that are good, some of our benefits, okay? Our dispatchers would be trained, and they would, quote unquote, watch our prisoners, okay? And basically what that means is they do cell checks, and if the person's suicidal, non-suicidal, you have certain times that you have to check on them, certain responsibilities that they have, okay? So instead of somebody else doing it, it'd be done right here, all right? We're not traveling anywhere, we keep it right in town, all right? One of the other regulations that we do not meet is what they call sight and sound. You arrest a juvenile, which the laws just changed on that, anybody under the age of 18, now there cannot be sight or sound from any other adult, okay? With what I'm proposing, and I'm going to show you some plans and all that kind of stuff in 1 second. What I'm proposing is that would comply with what we have now, okay? Because if you've ever been to my station, somebody's under arrest, everybody in the station knows about it. Everybody can see them. Everybody can hear them. We're trying to comply with some of these things. Again, just trying to prove to you it's not just something, these are the reasons why, okay? This is a huge one. Officer and dispatch safety. Prisoner is not properly detained, they're able to escape. They give me to my dispatch center, they're going to take down the entire town of Templeton, okay? Again, if you've ever been into our facility, okay, my dispatch center is not exactly secure, all right? Luckily, we've been able to control our prisoners so far. If they were ever to get loose, fight with somebody, whatever, we've had some fights in there, they get out into our dispatch center, that's going to take down their entire town of Templeton. Police, fire, EMS, water, highway, sewer, you name it, it's taking them down, right? No dispatcher, we're down, okay? Many issues with that. Again, some of the reasons why, you have mood swings, drugs, alcohol, that kind of stuff. If we're having a problem with a person, we can put them in a detention cell, cool off for a little while, we'll be back. We'll come and get you, okay? It works. It sounds strange, but instead of wrestling with them against that stupid little bar, and they're sitting in a chair, we can have them go and cool off for a little bit, come back and book them in under a little bit different circumstances. Right now, we try to get it done as quick as we can because we got no facility, we got no place for them. Okay, yeah, okay, yep, boom, get them out of here. This way here, we're kind of a little bit more relaxed, and we can do it at our, leisure more than theirs. Safety is a huge one. There's our cell. Pretty embarrassing. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. We've never, ever, ever had a cell in the town of Templeton. I'm not asking for a Taj Mahal. I'm just asking for a normal facility so we can do my job. I say me every time whatever. It's our department. There's several other guys with me. The chief's the only one here tonight, but there's several other guys, that have these arrests, have these same problems. Okay, so our guys chain him to the wall. That's a legitimate picture of, I mean, not only that, but if you got arrested, would you want to be chained to the wall? You know what I mean? It's just very embarrassing. So now I'm getting into some of the proposals, all right? I'm, again, proposing that we basically, this is the rear of our station. For those of you who may know it, may not know it, this is the rear of our station. That little block type thing down below is just kind of like cold storage, nothing really major. What I'm proposing to do is basically come off the back of the building, and I think it's 16 feet is the proposal from there off. So the stairs wouldn't move, they would just kind of come out towards this group that's parked right here. That's pretty much all it is. It wouldn't go any further to the right or to the left, kind of just come up straight. Again, that's Brian. He's our architect, the one who's drawing all this stuff up and knows the laws with regards to jail cells really well. He was getting some measurements and all those kinds of things. A side view is again, the chief can appreciate the ABC sides, whatever, okay? So I say that again, the rear, and then it would just show kind of how far it's coming up. Here's our booking room, okay? Again, a little embarrassing, but with some changes with regards to this, we're hoping to fix this and make it a little bit more safer. Actually, do you have that red pointer thing? Would you mind if I borrow it for a quick second?
I think it's,
Is it? Okay.
yeah, just pull up
Just,
the end. Pull
just
it.
top one?
Oh, you want the, oh, the point.
No, just a point. Oh, yeah, perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, great. Oh, okay, good. Thank you. We should have read this earlier. Okay, so, sorry. Basically, what you do is you walk in here, and our proposal, again, is to knock this out over here, and this is going to be our doorway, okay? This window would disappear, okay? So you come through here. Again, complying with the sight and sound is going to help. We're going to put the door on here into our current booking room. We're going to knock some of this stuff out and make some changes so, again, you can have access to it. But these are all proposed by, again, our architect. This is terrible, and I know you're never going to be able to read it, so what I do have is, I made a couple of copies for the board. And these are not final. This is just, again, suggested. I'm actually going to get into that with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a couple more if anybody wants one, but I'm just. So don't strain your eyes because you're never going to read half the stuff that's up there. Okay. Basically, all it is just, as I just explained, this is our current station. Okay, these are the stairs coming up. You come into the booking room. All right, this is that door, window we're going to knock down. It's just kind of more enhanced and like actual plans. It's not something I drew up on a napkin. It's like kind of real. You know what I mean? That's a proposal for actually 2 of them, which I'll get into in just 1 second. Okay. Again, just adding a jail cell to the police department doesn't mean that we're going to have everything we need. Okay. Basically, as I'm going to consider it, this particular case. Oh, no, I don't want to jump ahead too much. All right, on the jail cell, all we're doing is saying that we need it. Okay. Because we put a jail cell on, we don't want it to hurt any kind of future plans. I know there's several discussions currently about moving. All right. We need a new public safety, moving in with fire, moving in with whatever. That's fine. We don't want that to hurt this at all, okay? But considering this is basically a Band-Aid, okay? And I think I got it on my next slide, all right? Oh yeah, so all the, again, we're not just gonna build this, it's gonna be done in compliance with all Mass General laws and CMRs. So they have CMRs about every single little thing in the jail cell. With regards to cameras, it's going to be suicide-proof, the different regulations about the bench that they have to have, and that's what these CMRs up here are for, and it's specifically for jail cells, okay? Yeah, see, as I said, another Band-Aid, okay? Similar to fixing the flat tire on one of our old cruisers. That's basically all it is, okay? It's nothing going to be state-of-the-art. It's a concrete block. We're going to have a bed, a concrete slab in there, and a toilet and a bubbler. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's nothing. nothing that's gonna be. So here's what we originally thought of. We thought of putting in 2 jail cells.
Water,
Jail cells say
no, like,
about $25,000 a piece. You were mentioning procurement laws.
yeah.
So with regards to that, we're gonna comply with, again, proposed 1 cell,
Going to the bubble.
approximately $25,000. Now, told by the architect, Brian, who's very, very knowledgeable about that, he says turnkey, meaning we don't do a single thing for $25,000. Okay? What I can tell you, because I've been doing this research for several years, I've spoken with Chief Whitaker about it, I've spoken with many other people. I'm also asking for donations. And here's what I mean. I have a plumber that wants to do the plumbing for this. Okay? I have an electrician that is willing to do the electrical work on this. Okay? There are obviously some costs. We have to buy materials. Okay? I have different, a mason is a perfect example. I have a mason. I have many different people that are willing to help donate. Okay? And it's similar to, I don't know if I put in this one or not. Yeah,
I
okay.
was just thinking that.
Donate your time, labor to professionals, background, and careers. Okay. I think I might have mentioned,
We did a lot of stuff.
okay, yeah, Templeton Center Fire Station,
Yeah, same.
exactly, all right?
Let me see.
So Templeton Center Fire Station, they added on bricks with your name on it, okay? For the additional ambulance bay, it's similar to that. Had a whole bunch of people help out, so on and so forth. We're just adding on the jail cell. The Gilman Wakefield, they did the same thing with the snack shack, okay? And actually, some of the blocks are gonna be coming from what's left over from that. So here's some of the other questions: when, how, what. One of the processes is obviously coming before the board. Here I am, okay? We do have, and the local 155 and the local 155A, those are our unions, okay? Obviously, we have to pull a permit, so that's through the building department. Before any of this begins, it has to go through the Department of Public Health before we can even break ground. So the Department of Public Health is going to say, yes, no, it looks good, doesn't look good. Okay, here's our blessing, go ahead and get started. So there's a whole big process. It's not just, okay, let's build it overnight, good enough. No. So this is one of the steps here at the station. You know, for the station is here at the select board, and then we go with, you know, building permits, plans, all that kind of stuff. All right. We're going to set new policies and procedures. We're going to do some training. Those are more just in-house issues, because there's also prevent. I kind of made this slide show for our guys as well at the station, kind of present it to them. This one I thought was actually real good, bringing up morale with the officers. It sounds really weird, but there's a lot of times, I can't say, but many of you, you've been there, but there's sometimes when you're out on the street, and it's kind of a decision whether to arrest or not arrest. And a lot of times, we kind of prefer not to, because we don't have a place to put them. Okay? So it brings up the morale with officers. And why I say morale is because we traditionally have had somewhat of a revolving door with the police department. Let's attract people, and we train them, then they leave. Or if we can keep them here with the tools that they can do their job, it's great for the town. We're not paying all that extra money. We can actually keep some employees. Okay? Couple more almost done. Oh, okay. We're getting there. So basically, I think I've presented, you know, and brought up several different issues, questions, whatever. I'd be more than happy to answer any. What I can also tell you is the particular architect that we've been dealing with is very, very, very familiar with the laws. If you need a quick background reference on him, he's actually building the one in Gardner. He's potentially looking at the one in Wichita, and there was some issues with that, but he knows his stuff. So if there's any questions I can't ask with regards to the particular laws, and what about this, what about that, I can certainly check with him, but he's built several jail cells specifically. So.
I just have two quick.
Absolutely.
First is compliance with the bid process. I don't know how that, whether or not this would have to go out to bid.
So here's what I'm told, and this is the reason why we decided to go with one cell instead of two. Is because here in the town of Templeton, it has to be under $25,000. over 25,000, then it goes out to bid, 3, we're paying prevailing wage, all that kind of stuff, okay? Now, as I presented, the turnkey, we don't touch a single thing, one jail cell is $25,000, okay? I'm not even gonna come close to $25,000, because we're gonna have people that wanna donate, and I've got them all listed, okay? People that wanna donate their time, materials, so on and so forth, okay? The money that we're gonna have to spend is gonna come out of the fund that we were just talking about, okay? And we're gonna keep it under 25. The reason why we're doing that as well is because this is just a Band-Aid. I don't wanna spend a real lot of money on something, especially if we get a better facility, we move, that kind of stuff. And why should it cost us that much more to pay prevailing wage? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a good, for the builders and all that out there, that's great. But in this particular case, it's not that big of a project. It's, that kind of thing is not. Go ahead.
Oh, and sorry, no, I didn't mean to. My only other question then is, as you pointed out, and this is not through any fault of the police department, obviously, funding issues are the source of that issue, of this issue, but as you pointed out, there are numerous kind of like violations that I would imagine that we kind of get away with as the because we're grandfathered in essence, that, similar to what happens with the Americans with Disabilities Act, where if you start doing renovations on a building, you're then suddenly required to bring everything else up to code. Do we know that if we add this, it won't kind of count as an improvement for which we may lose our grandfathered status, or with some of those other violations, that if we're going to make repairs, suddenly, we have to be compliant with this, this, and this?
Yep. Well, and actually what I can tell you is, sorry you guys can't see this, but on the plan, the number 1 has a big circle around it, okay? That is done specifically complying with handicap. So if you're in a wheelchair, apparently you need I don't know what the diameter is, 5'8" diameter if you're in a wheelchair to move around and sell or whatever it is. So I would say just the opposite of that. We're actually complying with them and recognizing that if we did arrest somebody in a wheelchair or handicap or whatever, this and getting into it is also, we already comply with that. We have a ramp outside of the station, that kind of thing. So I don't see it as an issue, just because I think we're complying.
Oh, right. I just meant in terms of if we make a renovation to the building, do we then have to bring the rest of the building up to code? I guess that's more of which may be a question for, for.
I think we need to have just a side discussion.
Sure.
It's not just, if you do a bid process, that you have to pay prevailing wage. You have to pay prevailing wage whether or not you do a bid process. So,
correct.
There are certain individuals who are not employed where you don't have to do it. So I just think we need to have.
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, we can discuss that.
Just to make sure we don't get into some difficulty.
Sure.
Yeah,
Diana?
can I just, so you talked about earlier about the male-female thing?
Yes.
What will you do if that, you're only gonna have one cell?
And this is better than what we have, but not what we need.
Okay.
Okay? So if we do have a male-female, unfortunately, we're going to revert back to a backup plan, which is what we're actually using now. For the most part, and I can't say this all the time, but for the most part, we have one arrest at a time. Okay? One male, one female, whatever it may be. And if we're going to keep that one, that's fine. If we have another one, then we'll try to rely on other towns or what we're doing now. But generally speaking, we only have one at a time. Again, it's just better than what we have, but not the best, because on many occasions, you have male, female, multiple arrests. We've had that. I'd like to have more than just one cell. But again, I'm not looking to add on Taj Mahal to a building that's not really adequate. Go ahead. Sure.
Let me say this. This has been much needed for a number of years. I totally agree that we need that. And just for folks here, I'm looking at the plan. It's a 10 by 14 addition to the building. And you're talking about a bunk, a toilet, and a sink. It's going to be heated also. And I see that my biggest concern with this, really, and you're going to say, gee, and you have it already in here, is the monitoring here. You're looking at the future for a camera. I'd like to take and see that incorporated in there, because I know that the dispatchers are quite a distance from there, and I don't want to see something happen, as we know it has happened in many communities. And that's my only concern, per se, about this particular thing, because I think if you can build this for $25,000, we have the wrong people looking at building a number of things at the town office, and I won't go into those other things.
So, first of all, thank you very much, okay? And that's exactly what I need is the support, justifying, and it's not just me saying it, I'm backing up with facts and other information, okay? So thank you for that. Number two, we have looked into the cameras, and that's not a full set of plans, I want you to understand that, okay? Believe it or not, and this is the craziest thing I've ever heard, okay? You do not need a camera in the cells. Now, you need a toilet.
Right.
Okay. You need water.
Right.
You need but you don't need a camera. Now, we are going to have a camera in there because, and I can back up, but in our booking room, we have video and audio recording in there. It's very, very simple to run the wire and have another camera 20 feet away. Okay? So we are going to do that.
Absolutely, I like that.
You know, and again, it's for the dispatch, all that stuff. They have monitors in the dispatch center so they can see and hear and all that. We are going to. But when the guy's name is Brian, when he presented it to us, he said, you don't have to have one. Because we were talking about cost and everything else. And he said, oh, wait a minute, you guys already have cameras. We can run this one here, boom, boom, boom. But I think that's crazy that you have a guy, or you have a person under arrest in your cell for 4, 5, whatever, how many days or hours, and you don't have to have a video on them. I thought that was really strange, but to answer your question, we are, yes, not a problem.
Are there any other questions? If not, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
We appreciate
So
it.
go ahead, did you have a question?
Is it possible for us to get a copy of the PowerPoint?
I don't see why not, sure, I just like, print it up and that kind of,
Just an electronic copy?
I'll say it.
You can- yeah, you
Sure,
can.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
No, you can convert it to a video and we can put it on
So I guess my
town's
question
website.
is, and the reason why we're here tonight is permission from the board, from the town, to continue forward, to kind of get your feeling, opinion. Again, there are several steps that have to happen before we actually break ground. Building permit, Department of Public Health, a full set of actual drawings and plans, okay? But again, it was starting here with your permission, with your recommendations, whatever it may be. I'm just bringing the information forward, looking for permission to, take the next step or whatever is needed. Not necessarily start building tomorrow, but at least, whatever may be needed next.
Mr. Smart, did you have?
Do you have enough money left if you did go with the 2 cells for 50 grand? Or I'm sure with the volunteers we've proven in town, how much you can get the big bang for your buck.
Yep, absolutely. We definitely have enough money,
I
okay?
think you should go with the 2.
No, well, and I agree with you, and I want to disagree with you. We have enough money for it, okay? Here in Templeton, our laws are $25,000 more. You get into the bidding, the other more difficult ways to build, okay? Meaning it's going to take a lot longer and it's going to cost us a lot more. And as I said in my presentation, we really don't want to add on this glamorous thing to our station when the rest of our station isn't up to code, meets our needs, anything. Again, this is just a simple Band-Aid because laws have changed and so on and so forth, but we're really between a rock and a hot spot right now. We have to put them somewhere, but we don't want to, have it cost the town a real lot of money into a building that's really not worth it. So that's, again, I agree with you, because then we can do the male-female thing and so on and so forth, right? But I'm going to disagree because I still want to be able to move into another facility. Even if we did, we're looking at 3-5 years, whether it be a grant, permitting, a building. We're not going to be in a new station anytime soon. Realistically, this thing can be built in a few months. And again, it's checking with, the architect and that kind of stuff. Just a Band-Aid, that's all it is. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
So Sergeant Hall, I just wanted to thank you for the presentation. You did an outstanding job.
Thank you.
This has been a long time coming. I'm glad to see that it's well thought out and that you guys are have now the resources to actually make the improvement. So I would make a motion that we allow them to continue their process to get this done.
Second that.
Second, okay, first and second, any further discussion?
I just said,
Yep.
Bob had suggested earlier that there really needs to be a side session to
Oh, right,
hammer out
Yeah.
all those issues.
right. Still obviously in compliant with all, Yeah.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
exactly, yeah.
any other discussion? If not, Julie?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes, so thank you very much. Thank you.
The only other thing I did mention, I forgot to mention.
Oh, now that we voted. Oh, I forgot to mention this.
Mr. Nordford, he's been brought up several times with this gym cell. We're probably just thinking of like dedicating to him, and then potentially if we move into another building, then we can dedicate the building to him. But I mean, essentially, he's paying for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that was the only other thing, as main part of the presentation, we're probably just gonna throw like his name on it, dedicate it to him, that's all. So, thank you very much.
Can I ask you a quick question while you're up here on a different topic?
Sure.
The update on Memorial Street one-way, is that the chief, or it's all taken care of? Oh, we're done with that? Okay.
We're all set.
Never mind, we're all set with that. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I needed Memorial Street.
Oh, did you
from the
want to?
Chief.
Yeah.
Is he gonna, okay.
Chief, could you tell us the progress on the making of the one-way?
Okay, yes, all the signs are up along Memorial Street. I did have a conversation with Mr. Chase this morning, questioning the height of the signs. I believe they're a little too high, and I asked them if there were any state specs on how high they should be. If anyone's been up to the new town hall and see the signs up there, if you were driving up the other way, I don't know, they're almost like 9-10 feet high. And
Yeah, they are
to
too
see the
high.
do not enter,
You can't.
I asked if you could lower them. He's gonna look into that and see if there's any specs. Maybe if we go down Baldwinville Road and see what their signs are set at, because it's, the state put those up. And otherwise, Memorial Street is all posted, and we can start the 90-day trial period.
Great, yes.
I had a concern raised by one of the residents on Memorial Street, and they were saying that people, like the oil trucks and the trash people, I don't think they got the message that it's one way now, so they're going the wrong way. So I don't know if the police could kind of be present there just to kind of make them aware. I'm not saying ticket everybody that
There's only
goes
one
down,
person on
because,
during the
but
day.
I think it would just take 1 or 2 weeks, an occasional, surveillance there to make sure people are going the right way.
Well, I would suspect that's basically what the 90-day period is for.
Right,
Nobody would be ticketed during the 90-day period.
Right.
I will instruct the officers to go out there on a regular basis during their shift and see if they encounter anybody going the wrong way, warn them, and we can post it up on the website. And we'll just see how it goes for the next 90 days and see if we have any issues after that.
okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I was one that brought this forward for the
Nice.
one-way for the church, and the one resident that we were aware of that was really kind of against it, he's already acclimated to it, and he's already parking in the one direction and utilized it, it's not fully posted yet.
Great, thank you very much. Is there anything else? Yes, Holly?
Am I wrong? I thought we decided to just make it permanent at the last, when we voted on it. I thought it wasn't a 90-day.
No, it was a 90-day, we just didn't know when exactly it would start, because we just gave it up to the discretion of whenever Bud got the sign up. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. If we could do the selectmen's comments first before we go into executive session, that would be great, just in case anyone does not want to come back for the selectmen's comments. But Julie, did you have anything that you would like to say for selectmen's comments?
I did. I'll be brief. I contacted the auditor's office, Suzanne Bump. She was here at a candidate's night with Representative Andrews, and she got back to me. My concern was with the TDC, the decommissioning of the TDC, and Royalston Road. And she did say that she sent it to Vin McCarthy, who is the head of the local mandates division, for his assessment. And he called me right before the meeting. I didn't get the full message, but he would like to get more information from the board.
Oh, great.
And I think it's on November 14th, which is a Friday. So I'm not sure how that would work, but that's what he said would work for his schedule.
Okay.
I think it's something that we probably need to pursue and look at.
Definitely. Doug, did you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Oh, and obviously, it's this week, right? Yeah, elections are Tuesday, and it's a statewide election, so it's 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.? 7 to 8. Sorry, I knew I'd get it wrong. So 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., so you have 13 hours to vote. And also, the town meeting is the next day, on Wednesday, the 5th, at 7 o'clock. So, did you want to do something with this?
Yeah, it's getting late, so
Okay.
we had made an arrangement so that we could tee up the town meeting and the election.
Okay.
For a few comments on the warrant.
Okay.
I also would like to say that during the past week, I've had a donation of some office furniture amounting to nearly $4,000 worth.
Oh, great.
And I'd like to thank Tom Neuer for loaning his truck so that this furniture could be, I don't know if he's...
Yeah, he went home.
He went home.
Sorry, I know he has to be here at like 3 tomorrow, so we appreciate it.
It's a donation to the town to pick up the furniture and bring it into the town hall, so very much appreciated.
Thank you very much, and for allowing us to use the space today as well. John, did you have anything? No. Okay. Diane, did you have anything?
Yep. The playground dedication was really well attended. It was an awesome event. And then there was catering, there was all desserts and refreshments done here afterwards. Thank you so much. That was really nice to be together with the Salem family and other people from the town. And then the Pumpkin Fest looked like it was well attended also.
No riots?
It was a lot of fun. So those are really, just wanted to say thanks to everyone who came out to both events, and it was great.
Yes, Will.
I don't know if it was an oversight or because of my hearing, I didn't hear a vote as to what the board was recommending for the budget cycle, because I know the town administrator has taken it up. He wants to get that out this week, and whether it's going to be the 1% with a raise or 1% increase or 1.5%, I didn't hear that. So did I miss something, or?
Nope, you didn't miss anything. We did not vote. Are we at a position to do that now? When do we expect to know what our contributions are going to be to our other fixed costs? Is it going to be months?
No. If you'd like to have that beforehand, we can get underway with the process, and I can give you that information by next week.
Oh, okay.
Approximately, because
Oh, right, of course.
they make.
I have other questions that, I have other questions.
Your cost increases for health insurance and so forth until very late in the season.
I can't.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Without having that information, because my concern is that if we do say 1% or level funding, or we say anything now, and then it turns out that our health insurance, our retirement contributions going up like 9%. I mean, not that we anticipate it, but I would hate to have the already kind of strapped department heads spending time putting those together when we're not at a position to really kind of make that, at least make that decision as of yet. But it is definitely not falling by the sidelines, and we will be sure to.
The process is that in October, that process is supposed to start.
Start, yeah.
In November, you're supposed to be
Looking at that, yeah. So we'll be sure to take care of that. Did you want to make your comments on the?
Let me just go through quickly.
Sure.
This is really for TV rotation for residents who Here we go. Article 1 proposes a raise for town employees beginning July 1st of the current year. This would be be done by overriding the tax cap of Proposition 2.5, and it would provide for 2% raises for all town employees, both those who are unionized labor as well as managers. The cost would be $58,000, and it would increase the tax rate by 10.7 cents. This would be the first raise for town employees since July of 2011. I put together this chart because I suspect that there will be those who say, why didn't you accommodate raises in the FY15 budget? This is where we are with budgets for the town. Going back to 2012, the town charges were $7,595,000. As you can see, that went down in 2014. By the way, that number is minus, the number was higher, but that's the number after we cut $506,000. And then in the current year, it's $5,795,000. So the town budget, the operating budget, is decreasing. And to accommodate $58,000 for raises for town employees just is not in the cards in the current fiscal year. And so Selectmen decided in August that this would have to be a request for a general override of Prop 2.5. The other factor here is that this would ensure that next year the funds would be available to support those increases. The second item would provide for a general override in order to provide administrative assistance in both the assessor's office and the clerk's office. They had administrative assistants in their offices until the financial crisis in fiscal 2014. They are now one-person offices. I know there's going to be a debate at town meeting as to whether or not town government ought to be part-time and that one-person offices are acceptable or not. The difficulty is, and I think for those of us who are in the building every day, is that you don't need most town offices until you need them. And the people who come in and find the door locked, one of these offices, by the way, had the door locked this morning because she had to leave the building. They came in to find the door locked and no services available, they get angry. And I've had that experience. So for me, certainly, I think it's important to have part-time administrative assistants there. And that would provide that all of our town offices either have a shared administrative assistant or a part-time individual assistant. And so that we can assure residents, when they come to town hall, there will be someone there who can provide information and give them the service that they're looking for. The cost of this would be $27,771. Again, it would be accomplished by an override of the tax cap. It would add 5.1 cents to the tax rate. There is, thirdly, a proposal coming from the Senior Center Building Oversight Committee for $350,000 as a debt exclusion for 5 years. This would increase the tax rate by 14 cents, and it would provide funding so that both the first floor and the second floor of the new senior community center could be completed and that the building could be occupied. In connection with this, there's moving on another track, the possibility, no guarantee, the possibility that in the state budget supplement that's going through the state legislature now, that Senator, it's getting late at night, Senator Brewer, will be able to get some funding for this purpose. So by the time we have our town meeting, we should have more information as to whether or not it's likely to go through in the state budget or whether the other option, the only other option for opening the building would be through an override of tax cap. Now, I'm going in the wrong direction, sorry. Article number 4, fiscal 14, unpaid bills. We have 69,000 in unpaid bills. That's a lot of money in unpaid bills. The problem here is that we shut down the town government for 7 weeks at the end of the fiscal year, and bills did not get processed. So we are required to cover those costs in the current fiscal year. We have funds to do this. We're not asking for an override for that purpose. Now, in the event that the town meeting does not approve of a general override for assistance in the town clerk's office and in the deputy assessor, and in the assessor's office, both the assessor and the clerk have asked that we transfer funds within the budget from the town administrator's salary account. In this case, it would be $7,420. Transfer those funds to their accounts so that they could have someone from now until the end of the fiscal year. And then presumably, we would try to find a way to accommodate continuing those assistance in the next fiscal year. This is, as it says here, a backup plan in case the override fails. And there's the same plan for an assistant, administrative assistant in the assessor's office. This would be an $8,000 transfer from the administrator's salary. Now, the administrative salary was raised. There's going to be a surplus in that salary of about $30,000. That is not accounted for, will not be used, and so it's available to be transferred. Now, this is an important article, it's a financial article. There are a number of needs that have to be accommodated in this fiscal year. One of them is to fully fund the dog or the animal control contract. We had a contract with the city of Gardner. They raised the cost to $26,000. A deal was made with the town of Winchton for $19,000 for that service. In the budget process, however, there was an appropriation of $7,000. So in order to get to the $19,000 that's required, we have to transfer $12,000 into that account. Also, we were required to meet some state mandates with regard to handicap access, which we did. We built a walkway to the rear, and we had to take up some of the blacktop, basically repave the rear parking lot, both because we need the parking for residents who come to town hall, as well as for those who work at the town hall. And the choice was this: should we leave that back lot basically dirt through the wintertime and be unable to plow snow, or should we put down a base coat of blacktop? And so we put down the base coat, hoping to finish it and get funds to finish it in the spring. And so, again, we need to have an appropriation of $11,000 to cover that cost. Annual audits. The town did not do a fiscal 2013 annual audit. That was one of the reasons, in fact, the main reason, that we lost our bond rating. In order to restore the town's bond rating to borrow for any purpose, we're going to have to audit fiscal 13. In the current year budget, we have funds to audit fiscal 14, but 13 hasn't been done and there's no funding for it. So basically, this article would appropriate $32,000 in order to be able to do an audit of fiscal 13, which will begin in January of the coming year, and be immediately followed by an audit of fiscal 14. And once those audits are completed, then we'll have an opportunity to have the town's bond rating restored. Lastly, the health insurance issue. There were lots of uncertainties when the budget process was underway. We were uncertain as to how many employees we would have, given the necessity of $500,000 in cuts. Secondly, there was an increase of 4.1%, and as a result, the health insurance account was level funded. And so as we now look at more realistic figures for health insurance, we need to add to that account. These funds are available under the tax cap, and we're suggesting that we put the remaining funds under the tax cap in the health insurance account. They may not be used, but at least they will be there in case the bills continue at the current rate. Currently, we're getting bills for health insurance $95,000 and up per month. You can figure out that number. The account is at $799. We only pay 75% of that $95,000, but nevertheless, we're going to exceed the amount that's in that account. And so we're recommending that we add the remaining funds under the tax cap into that account in case they are needed. By the springtime, we will know whether or not they're needed, and if not, we'll just let those funds flush out to free cash. I want to stress that all these requested appropriations can be accomplished under the tax cap from funds that are available. Article 8, financial transfer for the health agent. The budget for the health agent in fiscal 15 provided for 19 hours. Some disagreement between the Board of Health and the budget process, and they made the decision to continue to pay the health agent at the rate of 20 hours per week out of the salary account. If in fact that continues and there's no supplemental appropriation, they should run out of money in that account sometime in the spring. And so the town's choice here is to allow that to happen, or to appropriate an additional $1,769 so that the health agent can continue to work 20 hours per week, and also receive town benefits. If he went back to 19 hours, he would lose town benefits. Article 9, financial transfer for the Rec Commission. No funding was provided at town meeting for the Recreation Commission. Selectmen are aware of that. We've had a number of discussions about this. This would appropriate $200 to the Recreation Commission and thereby allow them to operate programs and also to be covered by town insurance. Problem for the Recreation Commission right now is that even though they have some private funds to operate programming, they do not have liability insurance. And so it would be very unwise to operate any programming, for young people especially, without liability insurance. The town will provide that insurance, as it has in the past, only if they have some budget, meaning that the town meeting will allow some spending of public funds. $200 transfer. And then we have the community preservation funding for a vault for the town clerk, which would either go on the west side of the town hall, which is what this plan would provide for, or I know that at town meeting there will be other proposals made, one to put the vault in the basement of the town hall, and one to put the vault in a modular addition for a modular unit to the rear of the town hall. This is what is proposed by the town clerk. It will be $120,000 from community preservation funds in order to fund a 10 by 12 foot vault on the west side of the town hall. I brought along, you can't see this very well, but I brought along some cost estimates for the metal vault jacket. That alone will cost $55,000. So the metal jacket enclosed in masonry, attached to the west side of the town hall, would come up to $120,000. Or there will be cost estimates at the town meeting for alternative land. Also, community preservation funds, in this case, it would be an additional appropriation of $3,000 because while the town meeting in May appropriated $31,000 from community preservation funds in order to help restore the Civil War monument, the lowest bid for that project is $34,000. So So in order for the project to go forward, an additional $3,000 is requested from Community Preservation Fund. Lastly, the acceptance of White Circle as a public way. All the conditions are present in that area. The road is built to town specifications, and there's a request that White Circle be a public way. Any questions?
Just a comment. The advisory board chairman told me that he would have the advisory board recommendations available later this week.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Get them to me, we'll put the news stuff for the presentation.
And before we vote to go into executive session, is there anything else?
Can I?
Yes.
Can I speak for a little while?
Sure.
I know I'm not on the agenda or anything. My name is Randy K. Lawrence. I live on 261 Dudley Road, Templeton, Mass. I am on the list of tax day. I want to get a couple of years back taxes. I want to get back on a strict payment plan. I go down there because I want to straighten this out. I've had problems in the past. I have children that have died. I've had divorces and separations, trying to get back on my feet. I'm a single family guy. And now's the time. I just finished up the DOR in the court. Got that one all cleaned up, so now I'm moving on to this one. So I go to the assessor's office, the treasurer's office, and this is the letter that she gives me.
Okay.
I don't know why. Well, it's kind of unprofessional, isn't it?
Well, I'm sorry if you could continue with the,
I mean, it's not even on a town letterhead. She just puts Kate, and she just says, at this time, there are no payment plans with accounts that are owed back taxes. Well, I'm sure there's gonna be people probably tomorrow morning doing this. So why all of a sudden, nobody can make payment plans? So my point is if anybody gets a little bit behind, they can't make payment plans no more. Sounds like in the town of Templeton, that the town is for sale now. We need to go to auction with everybody's property. I think that's inappropriate.
Yep.
That's my opinion.
yeah, just to be clear, the property is not what's being auctioned. The properties are not being auctioned. The right to collect the back taxes are what's being auctioned. This is not and I know that there's been some confusion about this with other people that want to bid. What people are bidding on, or companies are bidding on, are the right to collect the back taxes, not the property itself.
Well, it's a certificate. It's basically the certificate. The town's looking for a lump sum is what it is. I heard that the minimum bid was gonna be $400,000.
Well, there is no minimum bid at this time. It's what,
I get around.
when all of the back taxes have to be paid, so what they're bidding on is, they have, at least the minimum has to be paid. There may be companies that are willing to pay more than the minimum, but all of the back taxes, so it's not like if the town is owed $10,000 in back taxes, we're going to sell that right to collect that for $1,000. The town has to get all of its tax money back. What's being auctioned is the right to collect those taxes, and certain people, certain companies may bid on separate bundles as well, so there are some properties, obviously,
Well, the way
they don't want
it's
the
written in
tax.
paper that only one person can bid, it's only one big bid. If you read the paper, it's only one bid. So it limited to multiple bidders, is going to be one bidder. It's got to be packaged. You better read the paper.
As many bidders as come can bid. Anybody can come to bid
Right.
on the tax.
In the end, it's only going to be one bidder, because it's bundled together.
When you say one bidder, you mean,
In the end, the rest of the taxes, it's not right. It's the certificate, what they're selling. It's not the property.
Right, it's a tax
But it's all
title.
bundled together.
right, the tax titles to those individual properties,
So it's
so,
not individual, they're going to be all bundled together.
I don't
One
think that's
bidder
the
can
case. I don't think that's the case. I think the way it will work, and I could be wrong, but I think there's going to be, we have these 37 tax titles. You bidder, this bidder says, okay, I'll give you 100,000 for these 6. This bidder may say, I'll give you 150 for those 6 plus these 2.
That ain't the way it's
That's the
written
way I
in the
understand
paper.
it to be.
That's not the
I
way it's
didn't
written
write
in the
the
paper. You gotta look at the
paper.
paper. And I
I didn't
didn't go
write-
see it in the attorney, that's what he said, right? That's what I went through. He said it was very unusual that they do this, they have never seen too many cases like that. Said it's very unusual. But basically what he's saying is the town of Templeton instead of caring about their residents, is looking for one chunk of money. In other words, they're looking for, you people know, you're in financial trouble, you lost 500,000, you lost a bunch of money.
I just want to say,
And.
why, let me clarify,
And I says that-
excuse, let me finish. That is not what's happening. What happened, the town is owed back taxes of $800,000. So residents that, and I understand that people have different financial situations, I'm not faulting them, but when you say we don't care about our residents, what about the residents that, let me finish, the residents that have paid their taxes, and yet they get a reduced level of service, which is what happens. When we have $800,000 in taxes that have not been paid, that means that the police department does not have what they need. The schools don't have what they need, because that money doesn't come from somewhere. If we don't get the money from residents who pay their taxes get a lower quality of service. So it is about caring for the residents, because the majority of Templeton taxpayers do. And keep in mind, we're not selling off taxes that you're 5 days late. Many of these are years' worth of unpaid taxes. And it's public.
Many people that are behind on their tax bills, they are on payment plans and stuff. Not everybody is up to date on their taxes, believe me.
Well, I know, that's why we're having a tax sale.
And what the amazing part was, is American Tissue didn't show up on that paper. We know they owe back taxes, but they were exempt from this whole article.
Because they're in bankruptcy, so you're not allowed to sell the right to collect their
They're
debt.
in bankruptcy.
But no, but
You're telling me that everybody on that list was everybody that owes back taxes?
you have to owe back taxes to be on the list.
My question is, was that everybody? I heard it was only a third of the people.
Well, I'm sure, no, people who are 3 months
So
behind
this-
were not selling the titles to collect their taxes, because nobody would bid on
What I'm
it.
understanding is only a third of the people.
Well, I will tell you that here, these are the people, we're the ones who sign these items, and the people, so it doesn't matter what people tell you, they're not the ones signing these things. So we're signing them, so I'm telling you what's going to happen.
I want to know why we can't make it a payment program.
The taxes have been behind, and I'm not talking about yours property in specifics, but I'm talking about these tax titles that are being sold. These properties have been delinquent for years, many of them. Let me finish. Most of
On
them,
there that been since '88, and they're not even on that list. There's a lot of them that don't show. Who put those individual ones on that, in that newspaper? Who picked them?
the item, the issue is, we need to get as much money, and let's say that we did pick the ones that we think were the ones that were best to be
No,
sold.
because you were trying to help the investor. That's exactly
No,
what's going on.
we get.
You picked and choose, and you know what?
Hey, wait, excuse me.
I don't
Let me-
You voted it.